On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Ethan has 4 days to live and Tony lives in a pineapple under the sea. We talk about the week's biggest news and answer your questions. Well, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I am your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
See, Sunday this goes up, so Monday. So I would have 2 days by the time this comes out.
Yep, 2 days left to survive. If you don't, I'll have to find a new co-host, I guess. I don't like the way this started out.
No, it's really bleak here.
Yeah.
It's like, I hope you can train them to do as good a job editing as I can.
I mean, we just started playing Halo 3, so you need to live at least long enough for us to play through that.
All right, speedrun tactics, go.
All right, how fast can you speedrun Halo 3?
Halo 3 speedrun.
And can you do that in co-op?
What on easy mode, 1 hour 3 minutes. Legendary, 1 hour 14 minutes by the same person. This was done last. Easy mode was December 2019. Legendary was March 2019.
So what you're telling me is that on the pre-show this week, we should have finished Halo 3.
We were 8 minutes shy of an easy mode finish.
Yeah, we only finished like 2 missions, though.
Tony?
What?
Okay, I bumped my headset so I couldn't hear you. So I was like, did you say something?
I did. So yeah, on the pre-show, we're playing through Halo 3. I think we might do a full playthrough of that for the next few weeks on the pre-show. So if you like it, let us know. If you want us to stop playing Halo 3, let us know that as well.
That'll be going up next week for public viewing, but for now it's Patreon.
Yep.
And if I forget, yell at me on the Facebook page or Twitter or something. Let me know.
Yes. So if by the time the next episode, well, around the time the next episode comes out, we'll probably make that Halo 3, the first episode of Halo 3, public for everybody. But Patreons, as usual, get it first.
I think we discussed this before and just forgot about it after saying, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, we might have. But since we're going to be doing a full playthrough of a game, we're going to make sure we get it out so that everybody can see it. So, in the meantime, though, why do you only have 4 days to live?
It's more like I lost my show notes. There they are. It's more like I'm playing a little game called Don't Escape.
Okay. I've heard of The Escapists. I've not heard of Don't Escape.
Okay, Don't Escape is a game series where you're trying to escape against all these horrible odds.
Okay.
And Don't Escape 4, or the fourth game, is 4 Days to Survive, is the subtitle. So, they're pixelated point and click, I guess you could call it adventure games. in the, if you want to consider that an adventure of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, the moon has exploded into 2 chunks and is slowly hurtling towards Earth. And you have four days to get stuff done, survive, and fix everything.
Okay.
So if you're getting Majora's Mask flashbacks here,
a little bit.
Just put those off to the side for the moment.
Okay. I have put them in a box and put them away because Majora's Mask isn't that good.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to mute Tony and just do a solo show now.
I went there, yeah.
Oh, man. So, pixelated point-and-click adventure game. You play as, I think his name's David. I've gotten to where I kind of ignore the name on here now. And you have, like, a dream each night for what is going to happen in the following day. And so you
Okay.
wake up, and then you have about 12 hours to to prepare, get ready to prevent what you can and do what you can to save yourself and others or whatever. So like the first one, I want to say you get the option to either you're either trying to survive against a locust swarm or some kind of insect swarm. They call them locusts, but they're not. Or you'll get maybe poisonous gas. You know, one or the other. The game likes to mix it up. I'm not going to complain. That makes it fun. So each scenario, you have different choices to make. Maybe one choice you have to go and, like, if you have the locust, then you got to find bug poison. You got to prepare a different way, throw bug nets over the windows, and that'll keep them from getting in this building that you find and all this sort of stuff. Whereas if you're getting the poison mist, it's put plastic covers over the windows, and then maybe throw towels at the bottom of the doors so that way it's not leaking in through there. It's just little things like that that make various differences in the game. And so you have to go through 4 different days on here. The first day, it's just you. Second day, you meet uh, her name's I think Catherine, and you just call her Kate. And from there, you end up meeting Cody and then Barry. And so you have your four. You have your team of 4, and you exclusively control David. And occasionally, you have to give stuff to the other people so that way they can survive better or have better odds of survival with you. And it just kind of works out, I guess, if you know what you're doing. At the end of the day, you get a percentage meter, and it kind of just goes through the events that are happening for what you're prepping for. So that slowly says, okay, because you did this so much percentage falls off because of this. And if you get a 100% clear rate on there, like you did everything perfectly, then you get a little bonus for the next day. Like maybe you can carry more weight. Whereas if you do horrible, you lose a little bit of time because you're being punished for doing bad.
Okay.
So you have consequences for depending on your actions here. And that reminds me, Markiplier played this a while back. That was a good run through of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend watching his video on that. It was a full LP on that, really good. But you end up uh, you know what? I guess I can go into a little bit of spoiler territory on this.
Maybe a little bit.
You end up realizing everything's a kind of a dream. Like time is repeating itself. That's why you know what's happening ahead of time because you've experienced it before.
Okay.
And so that's your, I guess, the precog part of it is just past versions of you that have taken into account, and then it's like, this is what's going to happen because this one, whatever. It's hard to explain that part because that involves going to the moon and going into a sleep chamber at some point. And you repeat the entire set or entire 4 days under a different set of rules or
Okay.
or events, I guess I should say.
It's the worst version of Groundhog Day ever.
It's a pretty bad version of Groundhog Day, yeah. And it's just pretty cool because you get a bunch of trial and error. Like my first time through there, I found a hole in the ground I had to hide in and fortify it so that way I could survive being cooked to death by the sun. Well, by heat at night because the sun's not up at night. So that's a thing. Whereas my second time through, it's like, hey, we're gonna have a cold snap instead, and everything's gonna freeze to death. And so I went back to that hole and started fortifying it for being really, really warm.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is dumb. It's cold down in the hole. Why would I? I should be fortifying somewhere warm, and I didn't realize I had to go back to the house and use the chimney and some other things, and so a bunch of trial and error with some save reloading. But yeah, it's a good little game. I might look at the other games in the Escape series. There's like good references to the games in this game as well. And there's even an awesome little website you can kind of find, and they have the password just off to the side on the sticky note of a monitor that you see in the screen of the game, so you can actually go to that website. You have this admin username and password you can log in with and get a little more in-depth research for game backstory.
Yeah, that's a nice little touch.
And it definitely references previous games.
Yeah.
Yes, because I remembered some like shadow creatures from one of the games from a video I saw, and it was just really neat to see.
All right.
So if you're thoroughly confused, and you should be, that's Don't Escape 4, and there's no mask or any of that, but the moon does come crashing down. With you on it at one point.
And you have an extra day.
Well, yeah, I mean, Termina has 4 days as well, but this one you have 4 days still, so.
But you only have 3 days then.
No, you survive the 3 days. You make it to the fourth day. This one, you survive the 4 days.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I guess you're right in that case.
It probably goes to the fifth day. It's been a while since I checked an LP on there, so I'm just kind of roughing it myself on here.
So you have at least 4 days.
Maybe 5.
All right.
Or 8 days, I guess, since I'm repeating 4 days under different events.
Yeah, but
I don't control the events; they just happen.
the same things over and over again. So it's not like they're doing it.
There. Okay, I do recall Markiplier's LP of it. He had the bugs the first day.
Yeah.
I think he had the bugs. Anyway, he had bugs the first day, I'm pretty sure. And then on his replay through it, for the there is a true ending. That's why you go back through there, because you can prevent various things from happening to certain people. And when he went back through it, his first day on there, I think it was it was bugs, but it wasn't the small bugs. It was giant spiders. Just were a normal occurrence in the world. And with since you're in a kind of a post-apocalyptic sort of event, they've just kind of they're running rampant throughout the area. So you have to like sneak around some places, lure one somewhere else so you can do things. And then you're fortified against them in the house that first day on the replay. I was like expecting something along those lines, but I got a completely different set of events than that. So couldn't even be mad about it. I was like, this is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, Don't Escape 4 days to survive.
Interesting. That's probably not one I will end up playing, but it may be one I watched a few videos on.
Yeah, definitely the Markiplier one. He kept changing the main character's name to David, so that was great. So tell me about the Tony. Are you ready?
Aye, aye, Captain.
I can't hear you.
Aye, aye, Captain. Now you got to keep it going.
Oh, who lives in a pineapple down under the sea?
Patrick Star. No, he lives under a rock. Only SpongeBob lives in a pineapple under the sea, and that is what I have been playing. The hot new release of the remake of SpongeBob SquarePants: Battle for Bikini Bottom.
I'm still amused by the name of that, where they live.
Bikini Bottom?
Yep.
Well, it's a fun little joke. I'm trying to find out exactly. Oh, it came out in 2003 originally.
Man, I was in high school or starting college, one of those.
Yeah, I remember seeing this game for the GameCube. I never played it. But I do remember seeing this game when it was originally released. It's on the GameCube, PlayStation 2.
It had a really good speedrunning uh, community too.
Did it?
Yeah, I think it still does.
Hmm.
And I'm sure the new game is helping that quite a bit.
There was a GBA version of the game as well. Wonder if it was the same game. But anyway, no, this is a remake of that GameCube game, and it's really more of like just a visual overhaul of the game. They've taken it, updated it to look like, uh, the newest SpongeBob movie. I don't, you probably aren't up on the SpongeBob movies. I don't know. Um,
I
but the
saw the one that had David Hasselhoff, then I saw the one where that guy's got is up there selling Krabby Patties.
that was Sponge Out of Water, I think.
The second movie, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the new. Oh, there's another one coming out. It's not out yet.
Okay.
Um, but it sort of looks visually like that one, where everything is 3D CG, which they did with the original GameCube game. But of course, graphics have come a little bit of a long way since that original game.
Right.
Um, but it plays like a GameCube game. The mission structure is very much the cutscenes are very much just straight out of like that old school. I guess the GameCube is retro at this point, sort of.
Oh man, that yeah, yeah.
I don't know where that. I still don't really know where that cutoff is. I don't know if I consider the GameCube a retro console just yet, or if it is, and I'm just in denial because it just means I'm getting old at that point. Um,
Not
so
not gonna give you an answer on that.
but it's a collectathon. There's tons of things to collect, and collecting some things will give you other collectibles. Like Patrick is missing a bunch of socks, and if you can find enough of his socks, he'll give you the golden spatula, which is the main collectible in the game because that's what you use to unlock other areas. So when you start, you have just the area basically around SpongeBob's house. So you can go to Patrick's house, Squidward's house, SpongeBob's house, and then there's a small area around it that you can go and collect things and solve, little mini puzzles. Like there's one where one of the golden spatulas is up on top of SpongeBob's house, and you have to do a small timed platforming section puzzle that starts at Patrick's house and you finish at SpongeBob's house, and you have like 30 seconds to do this little platforming section. And then there's tons of what they call shiny objects, I think, which are the main currency in the game. So you'll use it to buy different collectibles and things like that. So, and then once you've done that little area, you can then go to like Jellyfish Fields. And when you start off at Jellyfish Fields, Squidward gets attacked by jellyfish, and he's got jellyfish stings all over him. And SpongeBob tells him that the best way to, heal your jellyfish stings is to get the jelly from a king jellyfish, and he has to go, and that's the first boss that you fight.
King Jellyfish.
Yes. And then, of course, SpongeBob's main attack is a jellyfish net that he does this like spin attack and will hit anything around him, including jellyfish, these robots that have invaded and are causing havoc all through Bikini Bottom. There's one spot where you have to, as SpongeBob, you have to do this like bungee jump thing, and there are a bunch of shiny objects that you bounce around and try to get. And I think there's a golden spatula at the bottom that if you bungee jump just right, you can collect the golden spatula. Patrick is also a playable character, and he focuses more on. He has different types of attacks than SpongeBob, and is not quite as mobile as SpongeBob. SpongeBob has higher jumps and is faster than
Yeah,
Patrick
I would
is.
imagine him being like a slow, heavy hitter.
Yeah, basically. So it's by modern standards, it's not necessarily the greatest game, but it is that, for people who grew up, gosh, if people could have grown up playing or watching SpongeBob.
People did grow up watching SpongeBob,
I know.
Tony.
It's crazy. My kids are that perfect age to have grown up watching SpongeBob as kids and are now, becoming adults. Um, but the people who played that as that original game as kids can come back to this and relive that. My two smallest kids who didn't grow up on SpongeBob but have started recently to get into watching some SpongeBob love the game. Abby plays it all the time. Her favorite thing to do is there's a special button that will let you sneak around as SpongeBob, and it does that that sort of like tinkling sound that anytime any cartoon character sneaks around, and she loves to hear that sound and see his animation because he gets up really high on his tiptoes and his legs move really fast, and she thinks that's hilarious.
Did that originate with like Flintstones or something?
That would make sense. It seems like a Hanna-Barbera type thing to do, but I don't know where the origin of that sort of animation comes from. There is a multiplayer thing to it, but I haven't had a chance to really play that, so I don't know what it is. I don't know how it works. I'll get a chance to hopefully do that a little bit more this week. So yeah, it's a fun game. I'm enjoying it. It's not one that is, I'm not going to revisit it at Game of the Year time, but it's a fun little game to play, especially if you've got kids and you want to introduce them to SpongeBob or they like SpongeBob. So,
Especially when it's a game that you could have grown up playing yourself.
My wife does not agree. She is not a fan of SpongeBob.
Well, I mean, that's her job.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the biggest thing that I find distracting in the game is every character is voiced by their proper voice actors except Mr. Krabs. And I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why Clancy Brown didn't do the game. I don't know if he didn't want to do the game, just wasn't available at the time. I don't know.
Like, is it badly done or?
It's not bad. It's noticeable because Mr. Krabs has a very distinctive voice, and so
because his voice is like, I like money.
Yeah, and it's not as like that gravelly aspect to it.
Oh,
like
wait,
the sound.
Did he voice his character in the original game or not?
I don't know.
Well, now I gotta find out.
But like, yeah, every other character, Squidward, Patrick, Plankton, SpongeBob, they're all voiced by the proper people except for Mr. Krabs. So, that's not, of course, a game changer or a deal breaker in any way, but it's noticeable for people who are fans of the cartoon.
IMDb. I'm looking this up.
So yeah, and I think after Jellyfish Fields, I get to go into Bikini Bottom proper and do some stuff.
Okay, who voices?
Clancy Brown is the voice of Mr. Krabs.
Okay, Joe White voiced Mr. Krabs and Mermaid Man.
Okay. Oh yeah, I guess Mermaid Man would have a different, unless they've just pulled lines from the.
This is for the 2003 version.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in the new version. If they didn't just reuse his lines from previously, they would have had to, because I think Ernest Borgnine was the voice actor for him, and he's no longer with us, I don't think.
And now it's Joe White for Mermaid Man / Mr. Krabs in this one.
Yeah.
So he voiced this guy did the voice for both games.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not like a bad voice, but it is definitely noticeable. Yeah, Ernest Borgnine was the original voice actor for Mermaid Man, and he's no longer with us. So
Mermaid Man, that guy is like one of the best superhero jokes.
I love him.
He's like all the good superheroes, turned into a bad version of themselves.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a fun game. I like I said, I've been enjoying it. If you liked that game previously, you might want to check this one out because it's fun to revisit it. But that's really it for me. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the news. In the news this week, Microsoft was all over the place for a couple of things. And the first is that they announced that xCloud will be leaving the beta phase.
Oh no.
So,
Oh yay.
I've been in the beta for a while, since
You've been in the
March.
beta for like 5 years, Tony.
No, it hasn't been that long. It's been February or March that I got into the beta for that, and have been playing Xbox games on my phone and getting achievements that weren't solitaire, because I have solitaire on my phone.
This is where we find out that someone from Microsoft was just making the COVID thing so that way they could test out the xCloud gaming.
It's all one giant conspiracy. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what happened. No, Microsoft announced that they would be ending the beta phase and have given the release window for when xCloud will be available to the general public, and that is sometime in September.
Ooh.
No actual day in September has been announced, just that in September, xCloud will be available to the general public on Android. I don't know that it has been confirmed for iOS. There's still a bunch of stuff that they have to work out with Apple, because right now the beta, you can only play Master Chief Collection. It's the one game that you can play on there. Because there's stuff about the way the Apple Store works that they can't do
Thanks.
xCloud.
Thanks, Apple, iOS, Macintosh.
So I would imagine that'll at some point get worked out, but it's not certain if it will be ready in time for the public launch of xCloud. They also announced that xCloud would not be the final name for the service. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's fine. But they may change the name of xCloud. And also, they announced that it will be bundled into Game Pass Ultimate for free. So what that means is anybody who is a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber will be able to download the app on their Android device, tablet, or phone, and just play the Game Pass. Not whatever is available in xCloud. They haven't said for sure yet if it will be the entire library. My guess is it would be anything that's on Game Pass would be able to be streamed through xCloud.
Makes sense to me.
And right now that's just for the console games. It's not PC. That hasn't been finalized yet. Microsoft is still has talked about the fact that there will be a public beta for the PC version of xCloud this year. It could be as early as next month. There's a big presentation, I think, in August for xCloud that Microsoft is planning to give more details, to give exactly what they're going to be doing with xCloud going forward. I would guess that beta will probably be available around then. And then maybe in September, if the beta goes well for the first few weeks, that the PC version of xCloud could be available as well at the same time.
Cool.
But yeah, like I've talked about numerous times, I think, on the show, I am in that xCloud beta and have been using it pretty consistently since I got in. So I've played Halo multiplayer on there. I've played a lot of Sea of Thieves through xCloud on my phone. The one game series, or the one type of game that I can't really play on there because of the input lag, and there is input lag. It's a given with something like that.
Right.
Halo multiplayer's worked really well. I'm a casual, online shooter multiplayer guy. I don't care that much. If I can kill people as often as I'm getting killed and it seems fine and fair, then whatever. hyper competitive people, Halo probably won't work multiplayer on xCloud. I don't know. But the one game series or the one type of game that I have a real problem with is driving games. There's a couple of Forza games on there, an F1 game, I think Dirt is on there as well. And with those games, the input lag is just too noticeable on that, and I can't control the car the way I want to with those types of games. But other than that, it's been fantastic. It's worked really well on both my phone and my Fire tablet. So if you sideload the Google Play Store onto your Fire tablet, it should work just fine, as long as you're close to your router. So
Just be plugged directly into the internet and you're good.
I haven't found a way for my phone to be able to do that. So you got to be using the Wi-Fi. But yeah, September, xCloud coming to Game Pass Ultimate, no additional cost. That will be fantastic for everybody. So, you think you're going to try out xCloud when it becomes available?
If it's included in my Game Pass subscription and I ever switch from an iOS device.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forget that you use iPhone. So,
Thanks, Tony.
sorry. All by it. Well, PC then. You can play the PC one when it comes out. So,
Yeah, I guess I could.
uh, also this week though, Microsoft announced that they are discontinuing production on the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S all digital versions.
Okay.
Ahead
Okay.
of the November launch of Series X, they are slimming down what is available for the Xbox One line. Um, I'm surprised they're going with the S proper and not the all digital one. That seemed like that's what they would go with um, going forward. Um, but yeah, Xbox One Series X, not Series X, Xbox One X, and the all digital version of the Xbox One S. They are stopping production on. Uh, Once they're gone in stores, you won't be able to get them at that point. But by that point, the Series X should be out. But I think that is just a way for them to be, with everything that's going on in the world right now, it's best to slim down production going forward. We want to move people over to the Series X, but we also have said that this will be sort of a long-term transition. The Xbox One will still be a viable system for what they said up to probably 2 years. Any first party games that come out in the next 2 years will be playable both on Xbox One and Xbox Series X. Uh, so I think they just want to give people those options for, the lower end device in the Xbox One S. Uh,
Makes sense. I just hope they don't discontinue like the current system like immediately as soon as the new models that new thing is out. So
I don't think they're going to get rid of the Xbox One, at least for the first year. Maybe after the
well,
first
yeah,
year, they
but I mean, if they did, that would be kind of it does kind of worry me that they might do that because that would be their way of saying move on to the future at that point.
But see, the thing that you have to keep in mind with what Microsoft is doing in this generation switch is making it so that you can play your games on whatever you want to play on, whether it's PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, um, whatever you can afford as a consumer, they want you to be playing games on that. I don't know. I think Microsoft is the first one that is going into the we want we want you to be in the ecosystem rather than specifically on this one device. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay, all right, yeah.
so if when Series X comes out, if that's a $500 or a $600 box and you can't afford that, get an Xbox One S. It will work. All of the games that we are going to be putting out for the Series X will work on the Xbox One S. And then, should you be able to afford that in the future, buy that box. All of your games will come with you. They'll get upgraded to the Series X versions, because that is a thing that they are doing, at least with the first party games. Third parties will have the choice to do it or not, but Microsoft has said when you make that leap to the new system, your games will come with you and you'll get the new version for free, whether it's digital or physical.
Huzzah!
And I had been talking to some people online about this. They're like, there's no way that anybody would give you the next generation game for free because they're losing out on money.
Unless the console in question makes it a contractual obligation.
And I think Microsoft has just changed the way they're doing business. That old console model of when that console comes out, that's where all of our efforts are going. That's outdated to them at this point. They're more about getting you into the ecosystem than they are about you buying a box.
I think they're more like get you into it, and then you have a year. If you're getting in right at the start, then you have a year to acclimate to the new system.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, when you move over, you don't just lose all your stuff. It's like, well, great, now I got to restart Grand Theft Auto 5 for the 12th time on the 2025 release now. Instead, no, your GTA 5 save comes with you now, and you're on the highest version with ultra super duper high def quality.
If you played GTA 5 on your Xbox One on Tuesday and on Wednesday you buy a Series X, when you boot that up, your save file will instantly show up. It will download any enhancements to the game that the Series X gets, and you will be playing that version. And if, you put that old Xbox One in a bedroom as a secondary system and you go there, your save will move back seamlessly and you'll be playing the Xbox One version of the game. So, and then if you need to go to the bathroom, you can pull out your phone, hook up a controller to that, and you could play in there. So, Microsoft is doing, I think, everything right in terms of the consumer this time around. And I think a lot of this is what they wanted to do with the Xbox One from the beginning, but they messaged it so badly. And it turned a lot of people off. And so they basically just spent the Xbox One lifetime slowly implementing all of that stuff they wanted to do at the beginning.
It's that thing where it's like, here's the announcement, and then someone just needed to whisper to them, "You came on a little strong."
Yeah, exactly. So,
but instead they got hit with internet rage saying, "This is dumb."
mm-hmm. Yeah, and with xCloud now coming to Game Pass, that makes that is the best gaming service on the market right now. You get Xbox Live, you get Xbox Gold, you get Game Pass, and now you're getting cloud streaming added on top of that for free. And it's at this point, Microsoft doesn't even care if you have a box at all. If you don't own an Xbox, but you do have a phone and you can get a controller, you can play Xbox games on your phone without owning an Xbox with that Game Pass subscription.
Very true.
And Microsoft, if they can get some of those people who are paying them $15 a month to play games, but they don't own a box, I don't think they care. Because they're going to be getting that money consistently from those people every month, and that's going to add up, and that's going to be I think that could be a huge revenue stream for them. So
sounds plausible and great. Yeah.
And it might be a small number. It's not going to be your hardcore gamers that have, gosh, I hate those words. But those people who have been in the Xbox ecosystem forever, they're not going to not get a Series X and just start playing on their phone. It's going to be for the people who can't afford an Xbox, who can't afford a gaming PC, but they already have a phone, so they can buy an Xbox One controller for $40, give Microsoft $15, and then they can play Halo with their friends who have $1,000 gaming PCs.
PC Master Race.
So, at least, at least, I guess you could call me a PC gamer now too, sort of. Thanks to the cloud. But at least with Microsoft, it's getting to that point where it doesn't matter what you play on; they just want you playing Microsoft games. And I think we could get there eventually with the entire gaming landscape, where it doesn't matter if you're playing on a PlayStation, it doesn't matter if you're playing on an Xbox, it doesn't matter if you're playing on a Switch. You can play whatever game you want on whatever system you want, and it's just going to work. Whether it's through the cloud or through partnerships where, Microsoft and Nintendo are trading games, and, Switch will get a cloud version of Halo, and Microsoft will get Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. I don't know.
That's crazy talk, Tony.
It very well could be, but in some alternate universe out there, that's already happened. So you can already play Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on an Xbox One.
Okay, I guess we'll need to build that portal now.
And what a weird world that would be.
It'd be like an episode of Good Mythical Morning.
That would be so weird. But yeah, and we have a big gaming thing from Microsoft this week, so there'll be more Microsoft news next week because their big showcase is on July 23rd. They're going to have a big presentation showing off a bunch of stuff.
And I bet they'll announce the price.
It's entirely possible. I don't know if we're to the point yet where they're going to.
I know they're trying to hold out for Sony to announce the price, but I think Sony's just going to wait just so long that Microsoft just can't hold it back anymore.
Yeah. And I have no idea what Series X will be launching at. I'm curious to know if they'll do, because with the Xbox One, they did a thing where if you subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate, you could get a box and they would put like an additional $10 on your subscription price every month. And you just paid out the cost of the system with your Game Pass Ultimate subscription. I wonder if they do that sort of rent-to-own thing with Series X.
Didn't they close like all the Microsoft physical stores?
They did. But it could be something that you just, through Microsoft's website.
Or it could just be the pandemic thing that's affecting it for now.
Yeah, I don't know. So, but that's it for the Microsoft news right now. Let's move on to other things.
Other things.
And the first non-Microsoft thing we're going to talk about, even though you can play this game on
a
an Xbox
Microsoft system,
is Destiny 2. Because we don't talk enough Destiny around here. The newest, is it the newest expansion or just an update to the game?
It's the newest expansion.
It's called Beyond Light. Mm-hmm. It will not be releasing in September as previously planned. It has been delayed to November 10th. There was no specific reason given to the shift in the date other than Bungie saying we're doing what's best for the game. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, so it's not surprising that something this big would get a little bit of a delay.
It's also their way of saying we're not going to just shove this out the door. We'll release it when it's ready.
Yeah. And I think the Destiny fans are. I'm not, the prime audience for this. You're more of the prime audience for this. I think most people would probably be okay with it.
Yeah, and most of us that are okay with it are okay with it.
Yeah,
No, a lot of the fans are fine with that. I think there like there was some like the last major expansion or something that was delayed or something for a little bit or something. I forget what it was.
yeah. I actually haven't seen a lot of reaction to the news about this delay, so I don't know what the feeling from the audience is, whether or not it's positive, negative.
The majority of the audience should be positive about it. You'll have the occasional person who's like, "Well, just get it out the door already, yeah," and then you'll have the other person who's like, "Well, there's like no one playing that game. Why are you even bothering?" It's like, yeah, no one's playing. No 4 million people are playing this game at all. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think the audience for Destiny 2 is still pretty big.
Yeah, we could probably beat up that one person that keeps saying what audience.
Yeah. um, but to go along with that, another big outer space style game got a big update as well, and that is No Man's Sky.
Never heard of it.
I own this. I've tried playing it multiple times. Cannot, for whatever reason, get into the game. I want to play this game, but
Is it out of alpha test yet?
I think at this point it is.
I'm kidding. I know it's a game that people enjoy and stuff.
So the new update for No Man's Sky, which brings it up to the 2.6 version of the game, is called Desolation, and it basically turns the game into Alien.
Nice.
So this is a big horror themed element or horror themed update to the game where it drops you into an abandoned freighter that, like the rest of the game, is done procedurally. It's all procedurally generated. Everything about it is different every time you play the game. So, um,
Cool.
but it drops you into abandoned freighters, and then there's all kinds of, you know, things that come out and attack you. Life support systems failing, gravity systems, going on the fritz, and so, the gravity can get wonky in the middle of a playthrough. So, uh, No Man's Sky has come a long way
It really
from what it
has.
was when it originally launched, and a lot of people really like the game now. Um,
I'm betting it's probably still not what originally was expected or the dream vision on that was, but
mhm.
definitely way better than what it was on launch.
While it hasn't been as successful, I think, as something like Final Fantasy 14, it definitely got that sort of Final Fantasy 14, uh, rebirth sort of thing, where
Yeah, yeah,
the
definitely.
game was dead. Nobody wanted to play it.
Yeah, I think
Nobody
it was
wanted.
like $5 at GameStop,
Yeah,
and that
it was.
practically giving it away after a month.
They almost couldn't give the game away because nobody wanted to play it, and now it is completely turned around. There is so much content in that game for people that have, been able to put tons and tons of hours into it. So, and they just continue to put more stuff out for it.
Yeah, good on what was it? Hello Games or
Yeah, Hello Games.
wow, lucky guess on my half there. Good on
So,
them. Good guys.
yeah. So, two big updates for games, or announcements about updates for games this week, and then lastly, your one of your favorite times of the year,
Well,
and that is,
technically, it's already past that favorite time of the year,
well, yeah, but it had to be delayed a little bit. Um,
as with everything in the world.
GDQ. It starts in August, right? This year,
Starting on August 16th,
and they've put out the schedule.
we have a live schedule. The entire event is being done online. There's no in person event to be streamed online, so it's just straight online this
Mhm.
time. And we have the actual schedule out on here. We have a bunch of great games, like always. We have some different runners. Some people have opted to not run to let more new people come in. A bunch of the people that would be running games usually were also host and other involved in some other aspects. So we've seen several people just offer to just be a host instead of a runner this time around
Yeah.
because because with the way this one's going to work, it's going to be quick and fast with the from one game to another. There's not going to be the whole
Yeah, they don't
okay.
have to set up between everything.
Yes, I mean they're given a 10-minute leeway there for whatever reason to, but that gives them time to adjust sound quality and make sure the person's streaming capabilities are up to their bare minimum standards for being able to stream restream.
Hmm.
But starting at 10:30 a.m. Central Time, Sunday, August 16th, 2020. And let me take a sip. Let me take a sip of water before I start talking more.
That was beautiful.
Yep, enjoy. Ah, there's
Oh,
a piece of that little lime thing got stuck in my throat.
please don't die live on the show.
Ah, okay. So our opening game is Demon's Souls. So the
Okay.
original Dark Souls. PS3 estimating 1 hour on that one, so that's gonna be kind of a dark opening, going right into Streets of Rage 4, followed by Rayman Legends. We'll have our usual Shovel Knight stuff happening, some Mario games. Uh, Silhouette Mirage is getting ran this year. That's something I don't think I've seen ran at a GDQ before, maybe. Ghostbusters 2, that one's kind of a surprise to see on there. Let's just go further down the
When we get to Zelda,
list.
that's what I want to know.
Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link.
No, no, I said a good Zelda. When do we get to good Zelda?
I just told you.
That's not good Zelda. Man, I am
Okay, let's see.
I'm
Majora's
enraging
Mask,
all of the
Majora's
Zelda
Mask,
fans.
where is it? They have Alien Isolation being ran Monday night. That's gonna be, or is that, yeah, that's night. I was looking at the time, not, or the run time, not the time it starts. Like they have an entire spooky game segment there, like Silent Hill, Alone in the Dark, and Alien Isolation.
All right, the first good Zelda is at 3:12 p.m. on the 18th when they're doing Twilight Princess HD.
There's a Castlevania slash Bloodstain mini block here.
Speaking of that, I need to pick up Bloodstained Curse of the Moon too.
It's a good game, really tough. Let's see, Twilight Princess HD 312. Yep. Let's see.
Mario and Luigi Paper Jam is on the
Oh, Metal Gear Ghost Babel, whatever.
battle.
That Game Boy game,
Yeah.
Game Boy Color game. Sorry. Uh, this one surprises me. Virtual Boy Wario Land.
Interesting choice.
I'm, I'm says he's running on a Virtual Boy, so I don't know how that streams.
Yeah, I have no clue.
I've not heard of the video thing on that one going that way before, but more power to it, man. I look forward to the 30-minute headache that will be for that run.
Yeah, that's going to be weird. How do you do that? Do you just
I know the Pi's able to emulate it, but to
Oh, is
just yeah, your Pi can do it because I know mine can, but it doesn't do it in red. It does it in like black and white.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What there's a Pringles video game?
Oh yes, Pringles is being ran. I saw this at AGDQ 2019.
How the heck does Pringles have a video game?
Before you would get to the stream room, there was a game room before that where they had consoles and stuff set up in there, or I
Hmm.
think you'd bring your own console. I forget which one it was. Yeah, it was bring your own consoles what it was, and like they had a whole table, and the first table in there every time had Pringles on it right there in front of the door. So you had a Pringles game being ran constantly right there.
That's so weird.
It really was, but it'll be an amusing run to see. There's a Sonic block running Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, followed by Sonic Heroes. Oh, and Freedom Planet's run before all that, so that's cool. Okay, there's the Pringles video game. Reddit King, that's a fun little frog golf game.
I think I have that. It's a PS2 game.
I knew it was a GameCube game. Let's see. Doom 64, Blood, Doom 3, Warframe is being ran. Boss Showcase.
Interesting.
22 minutes. Yakuza Kiwami 2.
Okay. Coming to Game Pass very soon.
That too, yeah. Let's see. Ocarina of Time. Half-Life Alex is in the run on there. That's pretty good. Gunvolt Chronicles. I'm just going down through the list, calling out anything that looks interesting.
Mhm.
Baba Is You True Ending. I'm gonna highly suggest watching that one.
Okay.
Banjo Tooie. I'm always ready to see a Banjo Kazooie game being ran. And then there's the big Super Mario Brothers block right there. Or sorry, Super Hark Bros. Mario versus Donkey Kong, Super Mario, Super Mario Lost Levels, and then Super Monkey Ball. That's why I'm confused. Okay, sorry about that.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
There it is. Yeah, that's a 7.5 hour run on a PlayStation 4 Pro. That guy better be running the game on a SSD.
Yeah.
Oh man. You got your Super Metroid. There's a Metroid Fusion somewhere. 1%
Hmm.
hard. Oh wow, that's a race. So for 1%. Okay. Taskbot plays Super Mario 64. Super Mario 64 Shindo. I don't know what that is,
No clue.
but Taskbot stuff pretty interesting to watch. Bloodborne, Minecraft,
An hour long Minecraft any percent.
and to close it all out, Pokemon Shield.
It's a good choice for the end this time.
Yeah, it really is. Because for a good while there, it was just constant Super Metroid every time until some negative backlash from one of the live events.
Hmm.
But to be fair, I mean, audience was kind of causing some issues with that too. But yeah, a 4.5 hour Pokemon run to close it all out, and uh, should be over by a little after 8 o'clock Saturday night.
Yeah. Regardless, it's just going to be a week long of fun. So
Yes,
there'll be something for everybody.
they could.
If you,
I'm surprised they're not going to squeeze in more games because usually they would go up until at least past midnight on Saturday.
Mhm.
A piece of lime is burning my throat.
Please don't die. So, well, that's it for the news. So let's move on to listener feedback. And this week, Ethan, you asked everybody to name your favorite video game accessory.
I just asked them to talk about their favorite video game accessory, and Daniel via Facebook came to the rescue with saying, without a doubt, the Donkey Konga bongos.
That's a good accessory.
I did have some fun with those. Uh, I got two sets, or I got a pair of them back in college. A pair set. I have two sets.
Yeah. I never actually owned a set of the bongos myself, but I did get a chance to play with them and had a lot of fun.
There really isn't much of a difference between the first and second game. I think they had like the same songs, but a third game where like you controlled Donkey Kong with the bongos to do stuff.
Yeah, it was a platformer.
I never got that game, but man, that would have been fun to play. I bet, or
Yeah,
extremely frustrating, one or the other.
and they re-released it on the Wii, and it didn't work as well.
Well, yeah, Wii controls were horrible.
So, yeah, I'm gonna have to say the Wii Zapper was my favorite.
Okay, okay.
I would not actually say that, but um, I did have some fun with the Wii Zapper. Like it worked really well for some games. Um,
I
but
was a bigger fan of the bazooka for the SNES.
the Super Scope,
Yes.
yeah, that was a good one.
I
Uh,
actually have an unopened one behind my TV.
oh yeah,
Yes. And Super Scope 6 is still a pretty awesome game.
Well, I love the Power Glove.
I wonder if that would work on my TV since that uses its own sensor for the system.
I don't know.
Because I'm not having to aim at the TV for it to do the thing, so it should work.
Yeah, I don't know how it worked compared to the Zapper on the NES, because I know the Zapper doesn't work because of the way TVs work now.
Yeah, because the Zapper, you would aim at the duck and the hitbox would flash on the screen. And
Yeah. Yeah, and it just doesn't work with modern TVs. So, but I don't know with the Super Scope how that worked. What about the Wii microphone?
never had one.
Really?
I did not buy that Animal Crossing game.
No?
Mm-mm.
You never played City Folk?
No, I don't own it.
Oh. See, I did. That was the first Animal Crossing game I played. Was City Folk.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that had the thing that sat right underneath your TV so you could talk to people.
Yeah, it had the microphone so you could do voice chat. And it was a terrible microphone.
Mm-hmm.
It really was.
It's probably what led to making the Kinect a little bit better than what it was.
Maybe.
Although that didn't stop Aaron Paul from turning on my Xbox a few dozen times.
I played a lot of Power Pad stuff back in the
Wait,
day.
was it Aaron Paul?
It was one of them, I would imagine.
Wait, I gotta look this up because if I'm mixing that up for Logan Paul or Paul Logan or something, I'm gonna feel bad. Aaron Paul. Yeah, it's Aaron Paul.
Guy from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah. So yeah, I played a lot of Power Pad stuff back in the day. Cheated, of course, like everybody who had the Power Pad.
Of course.
If you're running on the Power Pad, you're playing it wrong. So.
Okay, so while I did say the Super Scope is my favorite, there is one that is actually a lot more expensive and like way more involved.
Okay.
Steel Battalion.
Ah, yes. Good old Steel Battalion.
I mean, do you consider that an accessory when that's the controller that's required to play the game?
Controller, but it's really an accessory.
Man, I'm looking at it up on my shelf right now. It's just like covered in dust, and I feel bad, but I don't want to dig it out because I don't have room on my desk to use it.
I don't know if my brother still has his or not, but he had one.
Oh man, I need to see if a friend of mine still has his. He had the blue button.
That was such a weird controller.
No, that was an awesome controller.
It was.
You're in the cockpit of a mech, and this is your controls in front of you.
Yeah.
You had like your radio control so you could communicate with people. You had fire extinguishers, I think a windshield wiper on there.
Yeah, and then they got the great idea of just get rid of the controller altogether. You don't need that to play Steel Battalion.
Rip.
So that
was like the worst Kinect game I had ever played. Was that the sequel? I traded it in. No regrets.
I imagine a lot of people did. So, well,
Everyone said it was going to be bad, but then people are like trying it out at demo stands and stuff. And like, oh, it actually works. And then you get it, and it's like, this doesn't work, and it's utter chaos. You cannot play it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was bad.
Although it was kind of neat to like turn around in the cockpit so you could grab people, your like co-pilots who are panicking. And you had to beat the sense into them.
What about the Tony Hawk skateboard?
I can't help but feel that people would probably getting more hurt than enjoyment from those.
That may be true.
But the idea was there. I can see it.
So, well, I think that's a pretty good list of accessories right there. But if anybody out there has any accessories that they remember fondly or not so fondly, let us know what those are. So yeah, that I think will be the show for this week, Ethan. So thank you very much for being here.
Have a great week, everyone.
Have fun storming the castle. If you want to reach out to us, we have new ways to do so. You can email us at procedurallygeneratedent@gmail.com. If you like what we do, you can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/pgent. Patreon supporters get the video version of the podcast a day early. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel, and we still have that famous Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.